Hello again, Dr. Arthur, and welcome to another video. I'd just like to say before I begin this video, hope you had a nice Christmas in 2015 and hope you're having a nice New Year in 2016. So I just want to say Happy New Year. Most of the time I don't really bother, but just saying, I'll say Happy New Year. Now, this video is actually going to be about Doctor Who. So a lot of you are like, yes, thank God. No offense to swearing. But you'll be like, yes, thank you. Because obviously, beginning of the new year, I do a Doctor Who video and I do my review of the previous series. So obviously this video is going to be my review of Doctor Who Series 9 from episodes 1 to 12 and the Christmas special, because I do count the Christmas special. Now, Series 9 obviously was a great series, but as I said, it was Peter Capaldi's second series as the Doctor, but also Jenna Coleman's third and final series as Clara Oswald, the companion. Now, as a whole, the series was really, really good. A lot of the stories they had for this series were absolutely spectacular, just amazing, really, really good. And I think, for my opinion, this Series 9 was actually better than Series 8, because obviously I enjoyed the stories more. There was more action and stuff packed into it, and also another reason for me is that I think Clara did more in this series than previous series, Series 8, or even the second half of Series 7 from 2013. I think that she worked extremely well with the Doctor, and that she worked alongside him instead of, everything always being around her. And that's one thing that really hurt with me with Series 8, that she did more to help with him, and, they did more together. And I think that's one thing that really made Clara and the Doctor really, work really well. And I think that was one thing I really, really liked. It was just amazing, just good. Now, there were lots of the episodes and stories that were in this series were really, really good. They were just, I wouldn't say I had a favourite one. I think they were all good. I really, really liked them that much, and that was one thing to me that really made it really, go really, really well. Everything just clicked together. Everything just clicked together, and that's what really made it good. Now, one thing that was interesting was that this was actually the first series in 4 years that we actually had a two-part at the beginning. Now, the last series was obviously Series 6 in 2012, which a lot of people liked and a lot of people didn't. I was more of a mix, but I kind of liked it. But I think the reason a lot of people like it when a series begins with just a first episode, like a standalone episode, is because obviously you get it into the story, into the series, which I do understand. But I think for this series, for the two-part opener was extremely interesting, and I think for how it was, because obviously the first two episodes were involving Davros and the Daleks, and it was just really, really good for what happened, because obviously in the first episode we find out that it's set in Skaro, and obviously the return of Davros comes back. Obviously Davros hasn't appeared in it since the 2008 series finale episode, Journey's End, which is a good episode. So it's interesting to see the return of Davros after 7 years, because I know a lot of people really wanted Davros to return after all that time. But apart from that, it was really, really good to see him. Now, I think the one thing that really made it interesting was obviously the regeneration sequence, which since last year still got a bit of question whether or not it counts or not. I do count it because obviously he used up regenerative energy, and that's basically. But I will explain that in a little bit. And that was one thing that was interesting, because in the the television trailer, after episode 1, there was like a scene where you see the Doctor's hand glowing, and people kept saying, "Oh, is the Doctor going to be regenerating soon?" and usually with myself, if anything's like that, I'm like, yes. I'm like one of those die-hard fanboys when something good happens, I overanalyze it and everything. I really, really do. But that was one thing that was interesting. And I think over time, the series really, really went well. Obviously, we had other characters coming, such as, Kate from Unit, as well as Osgood, which was really, really good to see. Because obviously I like Osgood. I think she's a really, really good character. And I'd love to see her become a companion, because I think she really, really fits well with the Doctor, especially with her outfits, because obviously her clothes look like something that the Doctor wore, and it really, really suits her. I think that's just what it is. It really fits her well, and I like that. Because she wore like something from the 7th Doctor, she wore something from the 4th Doctor this time, all that stuff, and that was just how it went. And I think the one thing that really made the series interesting by the end was obviously the end of Clara, that she died, and I think how she died was obviously because obviously the character rigs had like a tattoo on the back of his neck, and it had a countdown on it, and until that countdown goes to 0, the Raven ends up killing you, on Trap Street and all that stuff. But I think for what Clara did, I did feel a bit emotional. I really felt sorry for her, but by the end I didn't really feel sorry for her, because she basically put herself in danger, because she knew what to do, but she couldn't work out by the end, because obviously she always thought that she could do everything that the Doctor could do. The thing was with Clara, she basically always thought in that mindset that she was a Time Lord, and that she was immortal and everything. She could do anything she could. But obviously with her being human and she cannot regenerate, that's the thing. And then obviously, she died. And that was the thing. And the point that annoys me is that the Doctor went around, from episodes 10 to 12, blaming himself for basically the end of Clara, for her death. And that's what annoyed me, because Shielder even explained in episode 12 that the Doctor wasn't the person to kill, that, to be blamed for Clara. Clara basically killed herself. And I think that's what annoyed me. But that's just how the Doctor is in certain situations. Sorry. That's just what he does. And then obviously in episodes 11 and 12, it was interesting to see how the Doctor was by himself, because obviously this was the first time I ever saw the 12th Doctor on his own, which I think was nice. It was interesting to see how Peter Capaldi goes on his own. And also one thing that was a bit strange and kind of scared me was, with that, Clara had a bit of a cameo appearance in episode 12, because obviously the Doctor was thinking about her. And I went, oh, I didn't even know she was coming back, for that scene. And then in episode 12, the Doctor basically found a way to, stop Clara's death. And when that happened, it kind of confused me. I was like, what? I was like, what the heck, what the heck's going on? Because obviously she died in episode 12, and she sort of came back in episode 12. And it confused me a bit, because I'm thinking, well, she's died in episode 10, but she's come back in episode 12, and the Doctor's found a way. And that was just how it was, because of how everything, changed for the worse. Like, every rule he had, he basically broke. He just didn't care. All he cared was getting Clara back, because obviously they were good friends. But he could not do anything, and that was the thing. So obviously, Clara survived, so she did. By the end, obviously, the Doctor lost his memory of Clara, never knowing her, and Clara lived, her lives with a shielder in their, like, American Diner TARDIS, which is pretty cool, but I'm just saying. But obviously, Clara will be dying, because obviously she has to go back to Gallifrey the long way, as she said, and then that was basically the end of Clara. And the end of Series 9. Now, just gone the Christmas special now. Now, the Christmas special, I absolutely loved. It was nice to see the return of River, and also see, what the Doctor's life has been now without Clara, since obviously he doesn't know her anymore. But it was interesting to see the tension between River and the Doctor, see how, how things are, because obviously she didn't know her. I'll explain that later. And you know, it was good to see how, you know, things went, and basically we got the end of the song that we found out, you know, things that we've been waiting for over 7 years, and it was just amazing to see that. Now the point is that, as I said, the reason obviously we didn't know the Doctor at that point is because of the fact she believed about, you know, the whole 12 regenerations, 13 lives thing, because obviously, you know, when the Time Lord reaches their 13th life, they cannot regenerate. But because of what Clara did to the Doctor, you know, she basically saved him, and the Time Lords gave him a whole new regeneration cycle. So obviously she didn't know that. So she believed that the 11th Doctor, Matt Smith, was basically the last incarnation. But it was interesting when she found out, because obviously, you know, it kind of shocked her to think, well, you know, how the heck is the Doctor still here? You know, he was supposed to have died years ago. And, you know, that was the thing. But I think one of the best things I liked about the end of the episode was that we find out where the screwdriver was. That obviously the Doctor went to the Singing Towers of Beryllium. Well, that's where they had their date. But he kept delaying it because obviously he knew the truth that she would die someday. So he gave her a whole new sonic screwdriver, the one from Silence of the Library, from Series 4. And it was interesting, we finally found out why and how she got that screwdriver. Which is interesting because obviously that point, River is actually at the near end of the timeline before going to the library, you know, to you know, with the 10th Doctor, you know, played by David Tennant. And it was just interesting to see how that sort of stuff happened. And it was nice to see, like, you know, getting, like, an actual ending of River, because a lot of people have always wanted her to come back. And, you know, that was really, really good. But obviously, you know, that was the end of Series 9, and it's really, really good. Now, I'll just go on point about the regenerations. Now, most people don't really count this, obviously, as a regeneration from the Witch's Familiar. But what basically happened was, obviously, Davros was dying, and the Doctor secretly sacrificed some of his regenerative energy. But then, when Davros was getting a bit better and less ill, he basically, like, you know, tricked the Doctor, if he even knew, in taking a lot of his regeneration energy. And that's what basically happened. Then, obviously, Missy came in, destroyed everything, and then obviously the Doctor stopped, you know, regenerating. Now, the reason a lot of people don't count this as one is because obviously the Doctor didn't regenerate, but to me, he did basically heal himself, if you want to think like that. So for me, I do basically count that Peter Capaldi is both numbers 14 and 15. But it'll be interesting to see what happens, because obviously for many years people didn't count the Stolen Earth and Journey's End regeneration, but that's just basically it. This is how it goes on. That's just how it goes on. And then obviously two more things. 2015 was a good year for Doctor Who. The first one obviously was the 10th anniversary of New Who. 10 years yesterday. Sorry, last year, that Doctor Who, you know, returned in 2005 and became a massive hit like that. Just amazing. And it shows you how much Doctor Who's changed for all that time. It's just amazing. Really, really was. So obviously, before I got into it, I thought it was some sort of EastEnders rubbish. I was wrong. I love it. It's just a great programme. And then, obviously, the other point is that we got the 6th Doctor's regeneration after over 28 years, which has been something people really, really wanted to know. Because obviously, if you always wondered, Colin Baker never filmed his regeneration scene due to how the BBC treated him back in the 80s. So he got he got fired. They wanted him to come back for like a few minutes. He declined it. So obviously, Sylvester McCoy, filled in for him. But it was something he always regretted. And obviously, when Big Finish announced it back in February last year, that the 6th Doctor would finally get his end. And it's amazing because we finally got something that people really wanted. It's just amazing. But I'd like to say thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye.